Hello, my name is David Arzante here, and I'm going to be showcasing you my Melodious deck profile. I think I really like this Melodious deck profile because I was into the Arc V. I think I really like the Melodious, but ever since they got the new support, it makes you actually make it look so powerful now. Now it looks like a basic fun deck to play, so I'm going to showcase you. And first, I got the three of the refrain of the Melodious Songstress. This is actually a three ago. This is actually like a best three to start it off with because if this card is normal or special summon, I can add a Melodious monster from your deck to your hand. If a Melodious monster is special summoned to the field while this card is face up in my extra deck except during the damage step, you can place this card in the pendulum zone. So basically, if it goes in my extra pendulum zone, then I can place it in my pendulum zone. If fusion summon and this card is in my face up extra deck, place it here. And when it has a pendulum ability, you can target a Melodious fusion monster control, send a Melodious monster from your deck to your graveyard. If you do, the targeted monster gains attack points equal to the level of that monster sent to the graveyard, multiplied by 200 until the end of the turn. So it's like a booster. Next, I got 3 copies of Couplet, the Melodious Songstress. This is another 3 of because his ability goes and it's on the monster effect. If this card is added to your hand except by drawing it, you can reveal this card, special summon a level 4 or lower Melodious from your hand or graveyard. And if a Melodious fusion monster is special summoned while this card is in your face-up extra deck, except during the damage step, you can place this card in the pendulum zone. And its pendulum ability is that if you cannot pendulum summon except light monsters. This effect cannot be negated. If you do not control any face-up monsters other than Melodious monsters, you can add a Melodious spell / trap from your deck to your hand. Best 3 of. Next, I got 3 copies of Melodious Diva Sonata, the Melodious Diva. The Melodious Diva is actually a really great extender because it doesn't say anything about once per turn. It basically says, if you control a Melodious monster, you can special summon this card. While this card is special summoned on the field, all fairy type monsters you control gain 500 attack and defense points. Next, I got 2 copies of Aria. Aria is basically a really great card to have because while this special summon card is on the field, Melodious monsters you control cannot be targeted by card effects or be destroyed by battle. Special summon is on the field. Then I got 2 copies of Maestra because once per turn you can special summon a light type, 1 light fairy monster from your hand, but you cannot special summon other monsters to turn you activate this effect except light monsters, which most of my monsters are basically light. I have 2 copies of Canon, the Melodious Diva. It's just as another extender because if you control a Melodious monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Canon, the Melodious Diva, once per turn this way. And once per turn, you can target a Melodious monster you control, change its battle position. Next, I got Soprana. I think it says Soprana or Sopina, the Melodious Maestro. This one is actually a really great card because once per turn, you can target a light fairy monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand, but you cannot activate non-light monster effects during that turn you activate the effect. And then I got 2 copies of Soprano, the Melodious Songstress. This is basically your go-to fusion play. Well, this card is special summoned. You can target a Melodious monster in your graveyard, except Soprano, add it to your hand. You can use this effect once per turn, and once per turn you can fusion summon a Melodious fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters you control as fusion materials, including this card. Wait, hold on. Okay, sorry about that. I was on a little bit of a break in here, so I'm gonna have to edit that out. Next, I got Elfie, the Melodious Diva, because this card is really great. Because if the special summon Melodious monster you control cannot be destroyed by card effect, this card is special summon all fairy type monsters you control gains 300 attack points. Next, I have 3 copies of Score, the Melodious Diva. I really like it because it's basically like a hand trap. Because it doesn't say anything about it. It's like a really great hand trap for Melodious because during the damage calculation, in either player's turn, if a Melodious monster you control battles an opponent's monster, I can send this card from my hand to the graveyard, then change that monster's attack points to 0 until the end of this turn. It doesn't say once per turn, so if I have multiple copies of Score, I can just use it. Yeah, and sometimes if this card is in my hand during the damage step, I can just send this card, target one of their monsters, decrease its attack points to 0. And I kind of love it. And then I got, oops, 2 Ash, 2 Effect Veiler, just for negations. But that's all for my monsters. Now let's go for the spells, which I kind of seem to like. First, I have 3 copies of First Movement Solo, just because I like to go for it, because it's really great. If I don't control no monsters, I'm allowed to special summon a level 4 or lower Melodious monster from my hand or deck. You can only activate First Movement Solo per turn. You cannot special summon monsters to turn you activate this effect, except Melodious monsters. Really love this deck so much. I just really love it. Next, I got 2 Poly, just for fusion material. This is just, I know I don't like to play meta, but this is just something for fun. And like, I love going to tournaments and stuff, but I never had a chance to go to tournaments. I mean, I did went to the tournament in Rosemont, which was really great. I had a fun time with meeting so many people and many duelists with coming up with new strategies, and I get the chance to meet them. Anyway, I got 3 copies of Onomascaro. Oh, I don't know how you say it, but it isn't. It's basically 3 of. Because if you control no monsters, I can fusion summon a Melodious fusion monster by using 2 monsters from your hand or deck as fusion material. During the end phase, destroy the monster fusion summon by this effect. And if you do, all the fusion monsters that were used to fusion summon are in your graveyard. You can special summon all of them. I mean, this is just basically just, I mean, so it's basically just a turn you activate it. I got 1 Talents, 1 Duster, Pot of Desires just for banishing, and then I have 2 copies of Forbidden Chalice just for for negation, like for face-up monsters. But I just like, this is just a budgeted. And then I have 2 copies of Melodious Consuero, which is really great because fusion summon a fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand, field, or in your pendulum zones. If a Melodious fusion monster is sent to the graveyard while this card is in your graveyard, except during the damage step, you can place this card on the bottom of your deck, then you could draw a card. This is for additional resources. For draw power. For my trap cards, I have the 1 Melodious Illusion, which is basically a target of Melodious monster you control this turn. That face-up monster you control is unaffected by your opponent's spell or trap effects, and it can make a second attack during each battle phase. Just for something for Melodious budget, and the 1 Solomon Judgment just for negation. I mean, I don't really use this one, that trap cards. I just don't rely on it so much, but either way, that's all for the main deck. Now let's go for the extra deck, which I really, this is just basically, it's like pure. I got 2 copies of Bloom Harvest, the Melodious Composer, which is really great because if this card is link summoned, I can discard a card, then special summon 2 Melodious monsters with different levels from my deck to the zones this card points to in defense position. You cannot special summon the turn to activate its effect except Melodious monster. And once per turn, if a Melodious monster this card points to attacks, your opponent cannot activate any cards or effect until the end of the damage step. So as long as there is a monster right here, and if this card declares attacks of where it points to, your opponent cannot activate any trap cards or any cards. Cannot activate cards or effects. That rule doesn't apply. And then I have 2 copies of the Melodious Choir, which is really like this because of pure fusion, just or something. Cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects, and you take no damage involved in this attack. If this card battles a special summon monster after damage calculations, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to the difference between the original attack points of the opponent's monster and this card, and if you do, destroy the monster. Next up, I have Bloom Prima, the Melodious Choir. Really great, awesome deck. Because this card gains 300 attack points for each fusion material used for its fusion summon. This card can make a second attack during each battle phase. If this fusion summon card is sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 Melodious monster and add it to your hand. Next up, I have 2 copies of the Melodious Maestra. Melodious Maestra is Schuberta, I think. Schuberta, the Melodious Maestra. Well, only while face up on the field, quick effect, you can target up to 3 cards in any graveyard, banish them, and if you do, this card gains 200 attack points for each. Great for banishing cards, but I think there will be a great drawback for Malice cards, but I think it has to be face up. This is for banishment play. Next, I have 3 copies of Bancha and the 3 copies of Flowering and Fulfilling the Melodious Maestra. This is basically my best cards that I have. These are the brand new support that I have and anything else. Anyway, I want to say thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a really good day. Oh yes, and a quick update. I'm actually going to be competing in the February 28th on Rosemont tournament, regional tournament. I'm just hoping to meet people again, and I'm glad to compete. And I want to say thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a really good day. Bye. Love you.